Hello, my name is Zazie. You're welcome to my channel. And in this video, I would be doing some analysis on some synthetic indices that I have been trading for a while now. I took some trades on Crash. I took some trades on Boom 500, Volatility 751S. I also took some trades on Volatility 100. And if time permits, I would take you through the analysis and show you what I looked at or what I saw in the market that made me take those trades, and of course send out the signals. I also took a trade on Crash 300, I guess, but it's no longer here. I think I just closed off on that analysis because it hit my stop loss, and of all, like I sent like 4 signals on synthetic indices, and that one hit my stop loss and just sort of messed with the winning streak and all of that. But so I closed it because the market didn't work out, it didn't play out as expected, and it seemed like something different was happening now, and I was just not interested anymore. So I just closed it and looked at other indices that were giving me good results. Right. So the first one I would like to show you is Volatility 751S. I love these indices personally. I love it because before I started making good profit from trading, I used to rely solely on it because it's a very interesting indices that allows you to grow small accounts. So there are a lot of times that I have grown accounts from $1 to, like, a withdrawal stage. Like when I say withdrawal stage, I'm talking to the point of probably withdrawing like $100, withdrawing $500, withdrawing up to $1,000. Now, not just trading Volatility 751S. I use Volatility 751S to raise that $1 into something, say $10, from $10 to $20 or $30. Then from there, I can now start exploring other indices because now the account is big enough to actually hold good enough trades, right? So I love Volatility 751S very much. I advise it if your account is really small. It can totally help you explore using the lowest lot size, 0.005, and try to calculate your risk while doing it. When I take trades on the $1 account, yeah, just to enjoy the whole, trading with a small account thing. I take a lot of risk. I take a lot of risk, to be honest. It's $1, so I'm like, okay, I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? It can't even hold a trade on a regular sized account, so why not just take the risk anyways? The account is just $1, so I just take the risk, and if I'm lucky, it goes well, right? And then I'm able to scale that up to something reasonable. Okay, so this is V751S. I love this. I love this indices so much, and I'll show you why. So I have an analysis drawn out here. I sort of talked about this analysis. I think I sent this out on the Discord channel even before price played out like this, I guess. And people who took note of this would have understood the move and probably taking trades based on whatever move they saw at the time, right? But I'm just going to run you through the analysis and show you something that I looked at in the market. One thing I want to remind you of is the fact that I don't use indicators. I don't encourage using indicators. I don't encourage my students to use indicators. I trade using pure price action, understanding the naked charts. Alright, so the chart could be completely blank, and I'll just start looking at it and plotting out my analysis based on how I see the charts, candlesticks, movements, and the patterns that they're forming and the zones that they're at. Right? So as you continue to watch my videos, you'd understand more about my style of trading. It's pretty simple. I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm just sticking to the basic rules that if you also stick to, you would make very good difference in your trading. Alright, so let's get right to it. So this is V751S on the 1 hour time frame. I saw a lot of opportunities in this market. I am very big on patterns, especially when the patterns align with the main trend, right? So it gives me more confidence that this trade is good to go, and I'll just totally go for it. So in this chart right here, I had my eyes on the market when price was forming around this area, right? And I took note of these very very interesting points. This one, and let's see if I can get like a shape or something. Okay, let's use this rectangle. I took note of these points right here, And I also took note of this point right here, giving us, of course, an interesting double top, right? And apart from the fact that I see it looking like a double top, of course, there's been like rejection. At this first side, you see this shooting star candlestick right here. So price went up for a while, gave us a shooting star candle that gives us a reversal, right? After the shooting star candle, subsequent candles were sort of going in line with the move of the shooting star, right? And then price sold all the way to this point. This is also a very important level, right? And then price went up again and came back here to retest at this same point. Apart from the fact that these two areas here in the chart is giving me a chart pattern formation, it also serves as support, right? Because price got here, went back up, came here again, respected that point and went back up. So there is some sort of support here, and then we notice these two tops right here. Looking at this chart, I see a very interesting bearish bottom formation, and it gives me that sign that price, should be going bearish anytime. So price came all the way here, right? Now, here is the neckline, of course. Here is the support area. So we're looking at this area actually getting broken, because when it gets broken, it confirms to us that price should still be heading down, since the support could not hold price, right? So this area gets broken eventually, and while it was getting broken, I had my supply zone mapped out here. So supply zone giving me a signal to sell. If you don't know what the concept of supply and demand is, I'll probably do videos about that much later, or you can sort of reach out to me, sign up for my mentorship program. It's something that I teach. I literally have like periods dedicated to teaching supply and demand, because it's very broad, it's very interesting, it gives you a lot of results when you're trading with it alongside your order analysis, right? But we'll talk more about supply and demand much later. All right, so this is my supply zone here, and at this supply zone forming at this area, I know for sure that price should be coming all the way down. Now, price came and retested. So normally when you see a bearish bottom formation, you're expecting price to break out of the neckline and retest the neckline and then come back for a sell, which is what happens a lot of times, right? But of course, there's a supply zone right here too. So if price doesn't respect this neckline, let's see if it will respect the supply zone. And of course, price came all the way to the supply zone and tested it one time with this shooting star candlestick. Let's see if I can move it. Okay, tested it one time with the shooting star candlestick, and then the shooting star candlestick obviously showed a rejection, very huge rejection. And then one thing I like to do, one thing I advise my students to do, is whenever you notice reversal candlesticks at areas of concern, right, areas of control, whenever you notice reversal candlesticks at points where you expect reversals to happen from, wait for confirmation, just so you know that price is actually going to respect that reversal candlestick that has been drawn out. So in this case, the confirmation here was the bearish candle that formed after the shooting star. Now this is a shooting star forming right at the supply zone, an area where you are expecting price to reverse to the downside from. So it gives us more reason why we should actually stay confident in taking this sell right now. So the shooting star forms. Of course, some people take a sell when you just see the shooting star without waiting for confirmation. I like to wait for extra confirmation because it just gives me more confidence. I want to be able to hold my trade knowing that I am still in the right direction. Even though price tries to give me a pullback, I know that I am still good, holding my position tightly because I got confirmation before I actually took the trade, right? So the confirmation was this bearish candlestick, and afterwards, yes, price went back up to the upside to sort of almost did a retest, but it didn't get to the zone, but price sold all the way down. So imagine taking your sell from the formation of this candlestick, and then with your stop loss right above this supply zone, right? Price did pull back, but price didn't get anywhere close to the stop loss, and market sold all the way. So I literally saw all of this move, right? I saw all of this move, and I sent out the signal. This was the exact reason why I sold V751S. I took this signal on my main account. I took this on those small accounts that I try to grow and explore trading small accounts. So when I started trading, I used to have very little capital, right? And I was in a point where I knew that I could give myself some time of making money because I was a little bit comfortable. So I had to manage growing small capital. I had to take my time growing small capital. So I've been so used to growing little capital, and I understand the stress and the struggle that it actually takes to growing a small account, right? So sometimes when I'm taking trades on my main account, I'm taking trades on the smaller account just so I'm able to understand and see clearly and make clear the possibilities of these things happening. So when I coming to tell you that you should try trading Volatility 751S if you have a $5 account and you feel like there is no way your account can, grow, try it, right? Try trading V751S, but of course, if you don't really know, what to do in the charts, you might make the wrong move and things might go south, right? Even though you know what to do in the charts, there are times that the market is just not favorable for you at the time, right? But I'm letting you know for sure that this indices is a very great indices to grow a small account. So maybe you want to try it, see how it works. If you're not willing to try it on your real account yet, try trading these indices on your demo account. See how it works, see how it helps grow tiny accounts into something amazing, right? So let's see if we can see other things, other interesting things in this chart. So far what I know is the market has just been going bearish, right? I'll be able to mark out zones, very interesting zones. So I'll just move this. I'll just move this right here. I'll be able to mark out very interesting zones here. So marking out this area gives me, marking out this area now. Okay, yeah, so sorry, before I forget, you see there's an arrow here, right? The arrow is based on the fact that when the retest happened and everything, I measured my take profits with the distance from the top to the neckline or the support area, right? When I measured it, that's the same arrow that's here. So from the breakout point, to this area was where I expected to get TP, and TP was hit, as you can see. That was the first time I took the sell. That was one of the first trades that I took on this V751S. There was another trade as well, which is another one that I'm trying to explain right now. So this is an area of support, right? And looking at the chart and seeing how the market has been forming for the period and how I had a very amazing sell, and it now looks like the sell is not stopping, right? It's still going, price is still going all the way down. So I try to look at the market again from different things, different ways. They are very simple analysis, right? I like to tell people that when you see the analysis so simple, don't try to overcomplicate it, because the more you try to complicate it, now you see yourself making mistakes and doing things you're not supposed to do. So here is a support zone, a very valid support zone, very interesting support zone. I can see other zones in the charts that of course are significant, but they are not significant to my analysis at the moment, right? So there's no need to even talk about it. But here is a support zone, right? And within this support zone, these were interesting things that I saw in the markets, I saw in this chart. Within this support zone, I also noticed that another zone was forming. Now, in this case, it formed with, the zone got broken with this bearish candle here. This very strong bearish candle. If you notice this candle, if you can see this candle, you notice that this candle is very solid and it is completely bearish. It almost doesn't have any wick. The wicks are just very tiny wicks, right? This candle is super solid. Now, it broke out of a strong support zone, right, with a solid bearish candle, which is good, right? A very great thing. Now, when breakouts happen like this with solid candles like this, it sort of gives you an idea that yes, maybe price is actually going down for real. Maybe the support zone couldn't hold it. That's why price didn't, it didn't struggle to go past that zone, because the moment it got there, it just went all the way down. So this bearish candle broke out of the support zone. And when I saw this breakout, I knew that it was a good time to actually go in for that sell, right? I didn't try to overcomplicate it. I didn't try to think too much about it. I took the sell from the formation of this candle, set my stop loss right above this area, because two things came to mind. If the candlestick breaks like this, there's a chance that the next candlestick will also be bearish. And if the next candlestick is bearish, then I have my supply zone. a new supply zone has just been formed for me. So it was just all making sense. And then I took the risk, I took the trade, set my stop loss at a good distance, and I hit take profit, right? Price, I think I took profit somewhere around this area, because I remember from here, I started looking at areas where, I should expect price to probably reverse. So maybe we can enter another sell again from this area, because now this zone has been broken. So it's the first time it will be tested. It might serve as a new resistance, and there are high chances that price will hit this zone and start to sell all over again. So I got out of that trade, and I'm just waiting to see what would happen right now. Chances are price will keep going down. Chances are it might just reverse and do what I said. Chances are it might reverse and break out of this downtrend, because price is currently in a downtrend. It's a strong and solid downtrend. Chances are, again, it might test this trend line, maybe give us a third touch on the trend line and give us another opportunity to sell. So there are a lot of probabilities, a lot of possibilities. And when we see these things, we need to look for opportunities in the markets, right? So I have my eyes on these indices. Truth is, if I spend some more time analyzing this chart, I just might see some more things, right? And I don't want to overcomplicate it. I already have enough confluence. I already have enough of the analysis telling me what to do, right? So now I'm just waiting to see how the market responds to what I have in my head. If it's not responding that way, then I try to understand where the market is headed and trade based on that. So I'll still keep looking at this. When I get a clear move for whatever move that I intend to take, I definitely send a signal on the channel. So if you're not on my signal channel yet, the link is right down at the description. So hit the link and join the Telegram free signal channel, right? I send free signals. There are free signals there every day, right? You can join the channel and get free trading signals, Forex, synthetic indices, and all of those things. Yes. So this is Volatility 751S. Now let's switch over real quick to Boom 500. So I'm still looking at this market. I took a trade on this one. It hit take profit, and I'm still looking at this market because I have moves. I have ideas in my head. I have places that I'm looking at. Okay, so I'm just going to do like a quick explanation of what I think is going on here. Right, a quick explanation. So this is Boom 500 on the H4 time frame. Real quick, I would highlight a zone, a support zone right here, right? Very important zone, very, very important zone. Now, I would also highlight another area right here, another zone right here. Some might argue that you should put the zone here, but I'd rather put the zone here because this was the last point it tested, right, before price came down and give us, the turn. So there's been like a triple rejection at this bottom, and that is also serving as a support, right? I'm looking at this triple rejection, and it's making a lot of sense to me, right? And with this triple rejection at the bottom side, it means that you're probably expecting, high moves and all that. But here, I'm also seeing zones. I can see a zone right now, probably responsible for price trying to give us this bearish move. So this is a supply zone here, right? Price visited the zone the first time with this bullish candle, gave us this bearish candle, right, at the zone. Price went up again. Now, for the fact that price has been going up for a period and then gave us this candlestick right at the supply zone, this candlestick to me is serving as a hanging man right now in this analysis. And we know a hanging man, when we find a hanging man after price has been going up for a while, especially in a point where you expect price to reverse in the downside, it's bearish. It gives us a bearish formation. A hanging man is a bearish reversal candlestick. You probably want to check more about it. In my course, Mastering FX as a Beginner, I talked about major candlesticks, reversal candlesticks, and all of that. So yeah, so this is a supply zone right now at this area, and there are high chances that price is reacting to the supply zone, right? Where do you think price is headed? What do you think might happen? This is me thinking, because right at that support, I can also see demand, right? So I'm expecting price to actually just, probably come down here and, go back to the upside. Now, anything can happen in this market based on this very simple thing that I am seeing right now. And with my zones up and down, I expect one of two things to happen. Now, this demand zone, obviously, ends at this support, right? So even if I take off the demand zone, the support is still very solid, and we know that it is only when that support gets broken. Of course, when the support gets broken, the demand gets broken, and they both get broken, right? So if this area gets broken, then price should probably still be looking to go down, right? Unless something significant happens and causes the change. Now, I have my two zones here. They're obviously very strong zones, right? Even though it's more now looking like the demand zone has like more weight, right? Because it has a demand, it has a support, it has a triple rejection. So there's been like, more reasons why this zone should actually hold and not this zone. Now, this zone we have, this candlestick, we have this very solid one, we have this one not so solid, and price just came all the way down from here. But of course, the triple rejection eventually happened. So now it's one of two things for me. I am waiting to see which of the zones will get broken, right? I'm waiting to see which of them will get broken, how they get broken, right? And it will help me to know what to do. So if it gets broken to the upside, of course, with confirmation, I know if to keep going, up. If it gets broken and it breaks this zone, breaks the demand and the support and comes to the downside, then that must have been a very solid bearish move, and it probably would mean that price will be going down. So I'll be looking at this, right? Of course, I know that I'll probably see some new things as price keeps forming, but I have my eyes on this chart as well. And the moment I see a very interesting move in the market, I'll take the trade and I'll also send out the signal. Again, the link to the signal channel is in the description, so go to it, click on it, and join if you're interested. So the very next one I'll be touching real quick, simply because it sort of has a similar analysis with what we saw on the V75-1S. So I'll just show you how it is on the V100. Right. So on this V100, I sent a signal when we had this analysis set up. In fact, I sent out this analysis before it even played out. I shared the analysis on the Discord server, and it was amazing, right? Because I sent the chart when price was still around here. I expected price to actually go up and then come all the way down, and that was exactly what happened. I wanted price to come to this line chart, to this area here. This area serving as a support that has been broken. I wanted price to come here and just come down, but price went further to the upside and then came. And funny thing was, of course, I did not take the trade when price hit this point. I waited for confirmation, and then I ended up taking the trade when price was at the top. So I'll explain to you how that went down. I'll show you the similarities it has with the V75-1S, so you might want to check it out and check out other charts that look like this, because patterns are repetitive, right? So if you check out patterns, you see that they happen a lot of times in different charts situations, right? And you can always use the same pattern to trade, right, and expect the same result. So this is V100 on the H1 time frame. I like this indices as well because it's a very straightforward indices. The kind of money you make from a very small, from the lowest lot size is not so small, and it's also not it's not that much. So if you have a mini sized account, if you are able to scale up from V75 to like say $30 for instance, and then you probably want to trade from $30 using these indices with the lowest lot size, maybe just one position just for safety, right? With your stop loss at a reasonable point where you know that you're not having to lose all your money, right? It will give you great profit. So I've done like a lot of experiment so to speak, right? And truthfully, these things turn out great, but of course you need to have the right knowledge for you to try out these things. You need to actually know what you're doing before you try out these things. So let me explain this chart real quick. So in here I saw rejections, right? Of course I saw all of this move. If you remember the V75-1S analysis, you see that it is something similar to this. So I can see a rejection here, the first one. I can count this, but I'm not really interested in counting this. But I'll just put it right here, and then my focus is right here. So at this area, I sort of marked out a resistance, right? I marked out a resistance, and another very interesting thing that looked very clear to me was the fact that there was this. Looking at it like this, it gives me another bearish Batman formation. I also can see that price visited here as well, started the support area from here and went all the way here, and price also gave us a triple rejection here. So there is resistance at the top, there is support here, and then I also see my bearish Batman in action. Right, so now price coming all the way down to this area, right? Price formed for us a supply zone right here as well. But of course, the zone did not break this support, because we see this candlestick forming here that is almost serving like a bullish pin bar. That is a bullish pin bar actually. Now, after this bullish pin bar, of course, you know that when you see reversal candlesticks, you don't just take trades, you wait for confirmation. But in this case, there was no confirmation. Instead, the opposite happened, right? Price broke out. It was expected. I actually expected price to break out because of the way the chart was moving. I was already seeing a bearish Batman forming. I just needed price to play out like that so it could confirm to me what I had in my head. And so when price broke out, it was good. It was a very interesting breakout. Another thing that I noticed was the demand zone right here, and I plotted it out because I knew that this demand zone would be responsible for something. I just had a very strong feeling that this zone would work. And then, interestingly, when price broke out of this zone, it gave us a morning star that confirmed to me that, okay, this demand zone just wants to give us a reversal, a pullback so that it can sell some more. The first thing I noticed was this candlestick here. When price came here, you see a dragonfly doji forming right here. And then at the end of the day, we see a very strong bullish candlestick, so giving us a morning star. And then price just did a very tiny retest. It broke out of this neckline and then tried to go into this supply zone, but price didn't get there. And then when price got there, you see the candlesticks forming around the area. And then this candlestick here with the wick, looking like price visited this area, almost trying to get into the supply zone, but it didn't, right? And then after that, we had a very strong bearish candle, followed by another bearish candle. So price just gave us that reversal. So the moment I saw this reversal with this candlestick, this blue one, with this candlestick here, I waited for confirmation, and when I got that confirmation, I sent out the sell signal with my stop loss right above the supply zone, because I knew that price, or I had a very strong belief that price would not break out of the supply zone, and I took the trade. Now, the TP was also calculated based on the distance from the support to the resistance, or from the top to the neckline of the Batman, right? And price actually played out like that. Price hit TP, and interestingly, price kept on selling from that zone, right? So this was a good trade. Another thing I noticed while I was analyzing this market was that while price was breaking out from this neckline again, we could see another zone forming, another supply zone forming. So price came here. The first time the zone was tested, you know, we could see all that rejection. We could see the candlesticks testing it. We could see the bearish engulfing, the shooting star candlesticks forming around. So all of the reversal signs were there, and one could have taken that trade. Still with that supply zone forming and being tested, another one also forming as well, right? So price still testing it. So while all of this was happening, of course, I was still in that trade, but I could see all of this move, right? Sometimes I added extra positions based on the extra moves that I was seeing, but I didn't send out the extra signals because I just wanted people to hold their positions. I didn't want anyone to over leverage and anything. So it was just interesting watching the ride, right? I was following this chart. I just was excited and interested in the fact that price was going so seamlessly, and it really looked like something that was going to yield great results, which eventually happened, right? So there's been a lot of moves in the market so far. I've highlighted the zone. So I took that trade, sent out the signal. We all made money from that signal. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed the trade, right? So now we have this area here, and then there's been a support zone that's been broken. It got broken with this bearish candlestick, right? And then afterwards, price sold all the way here. There was no retest whatsoever. I did a video on retest. Okay, I haven't yet put out a video on retest, right? But I did a video asking if retests are actually that important. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, but I also post the videos on my YouTube Shorts, but follow me on Instagram and check out the videos. I drop out videos every week, right, to give you trading tips, free trading tips, right? So I did a video on retest. I'm saying that because I see that price broke out of this zone, and normally people would wait for retest to happen before they take the sell, but we can clearly see the market did not retest, and you'd have lost or missed out on a very interesting, beautiful sell trade. But of course, you wouldn't have completely missed out because you already took profit the first time, right? But more profit won't be bad, but we always have to try to control, you know, our greed. So if you feel like retest is something that is important for your analysis, then stick to that. All right. Otherwise, there are ways to trade without retest. There are things to look out for that you don't have to necessarily wait for a retest, right? So Price broke out and did all of that move. And then after this happened, I sent out a buy signal still on this volatility 100. So the first time I sold from that point, I missed all of that buy coming all the way down. And then from here, I sent out a buy signal. It was very interesting buy signal because I plotted out my zones. Sorry, my trends, right? And then I saw the downtrend, and then I also saw the uptrend. So it was giving me, at first, looking at this chart, sorry, let me just try to zoom in. Looking at this chart at first, it was giving me a bearish pennant move, but I was open to anything. I was open to it breaking out to the downside or to the upside, right? I wanted to see where price is going to break out from. And interestingly, price, I'll just zoom in a bit again, sorry. So interestingly, price broke out from the upside, and I was here in this chart when all of this drama happened. So while price broke out on the upside, the moment I was waiting for price to break out, actually. I needed price to break out from up or down. I just wanted to see what was going to happen, and then I was ready to take the move from any direction. So I saw price broke out with this bullish candle here, and the moment I saw that happen, I took my buy. I took my buy with my stop loss at the middle of this meetup point right here, and I sent out the signal. My risk to reward was 1 to 2. Well, apart from it being 1 to 2, I also measured key zones that I expected reversals to happen from, and marking out this area as a zone. I need to be sure of the actual place that I took profits because I don't remember, but it was somewhere around here, right? But the risk to reward was not less than 1 to 2, and I think it was more than that. Yeah, okay, it was just one TP. It was just one TP. I remember very well now. So I'm just gonna check my channel real quick to be sure. Okay, yes, it was just one TP, and we made 366 points from that signal. 366 points. Risk to reward was more than 1 to 2, and it was great. So let me just set out the coordinates. I just need to be sure of these figures I'm giving you. So you know. Properties. Okay, so I know where the entry was from the breakout of that candle. So say the stop loss was 3605.76. This is it. Okay, the stop loss was here, right here. Yeah, alright, I was correct. So it's a 1 to 2 risk to reward because the take profits was 4137.77. Yes. Oh, amazing, to the top. Okay, great. So I took the trade from the breakout position here. After this bullish candle was formed, this is where I took my trade. I took my buy, and then I set my stop loss here. I think the reason I set my stop loss here was because I wanted to give the market enough space to move. So if price wanted to do a retest, it would do a retest, and I would probably still be safe to be in the trade. So I wanted to have peace of mind while taking that trade. So I took my buy here, and I set my stop loss right here. And then my take profit was right here. So I was correct. It was just a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So it's like if you're risking $30, you are aiming to make $60, right? So that was how it was. And that's just on the smallest. I think the smallest lot size gave us $73 per position. The smallest lot size 0.2 gave us $73 per position when it eventually hit stop loss. Hit take profit. When it eventually hit take profit. So that was it. So I've talked about the V75-1S, I've talked about Boom 500, I've also talked about Volatility 100. I have other indices that I want to share with you. I have other analysis that I have done. I have other analysis that I have taken, that I'd like to share with you based on successful trades and signals that I have sent out. But I'll do that in another video, alright? So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and also turn on post notification because I'll be dropping the videos back to back. Alright, these videos are going to be completely free for you to use for your educational use, right? You need to totally do your own personal research. Don't always take my word for it. Just do your personal research, and so you can also help yourself. This video is just to help you improve on what you already know or teach you new things that you probably don't know about the market, alright? So from time to time, I will be dropping out analysis based on my personal thoughts on the markets, and especially successful trade signals that I sent, so you can see what I did right and implement it or check it out or research on it or whatever. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you again some other time.